Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Galactivation series. I am your host, Alexis Christine, and I am here with my co-host, Blue Lightning. Blue, how are you doing today?
I'm doing most excellent.
Amazing. What kind of crystal is that in your hand?
This is a Lemurian amethyst pointed quartz
Nice. And what are you using it for?
for activations, galactivations, and
Love it. Okay. Guys, on today's episode, we are going to be talking about lucid dreaming, dream mapping, and then how to connect to your higher dimensional intergalactic avatarian eternal self via your higher self. So this is going to be Blue explaining a lot of these things to you. What was that hand motion for?
I'm already explaining it.
Oh, that okay. Blue, I'm just gonna let you take this away. Should we start with the lucid dreaming and dream mapping?
The most quintessential thing to realize with the dream body,
Mm-hmm.
and I say this again and again and again and again to people, is however healthy your physical body is will determine how healthy and strong your dream body may be. If you're into health, wellness, fitness, nutrition, and bodybuilding, yoga, Pilates, martial arts, that will almost automatically convert into your dreaming body as a really strong, healthy, fit, and vibrant dreaming body. Where people suffer the most with their dreaming self or their dreaming body is usually a contraindication that their own physical body is also suffering and also in some form of pain, some form of discomfort. And usually the types of pain from the dreaming realm will carry over into this realm. An example of that would be if someone got hurt and injured in a dream, it could actually come and carry over into this realm. But this is why the protocol and the mastery of lucid dreaming is so necessary, and what I call dream mapping, which I call also it's beyond lucid dreaming. So beyond lucid dreaming isn't just about trying to, quote unquote, trying to have a lucid dream.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's literally you are creating the lucid dream or dreams of your choice. You're creating the landscape, the experiences you want to have, and you're also allowing or disallowing what you want in your dreams or out of your dreams. So a lot of people could be thinking, which I know a lot of people will be, how do you consciously control any of your dreams? Dreams just happen. Well, that's from someone who's an amateur who just doesn't know how to consciously dream. And when you're consciously dreaming, they just don't happen. Conscious dreaming, aka creating your dreams into reality and vice versa, allows you to have the best possible dreaming experience ever. And at some point, and this is way down the road in the advancements of this, and this is where trainings, teachings, special instructions come in for really advanced dream mapping, lucid dreaming protocol. It can get so advanced that it's no longer a dream anymore. In fact, it winds up being all these other alternate realities to include, I'll give this seemingly random example. You go to bed at night, you've done all the techniques and the trainings. Let's say hypothetically, you set the intention and you did all the right steps, but one of the main intentions was, I want to go to the year 1859. All right, if you want to go to the year 1859 in your light body, astral dream body, you could do that. If all the right sequences and steps are set up, you will immediately time travel in your light body. You'll co-emerge into either an ancestor who has very similar genetics and DNA to yourself, and or you'll literally float around like an actual orb or being of light where nobody can actually see you.
So the lucid dreaming can eventually turn into astral travel, is what you're saying.
It can turn into astral travel. aka interdimensional travel.
Okay. So let's back up for a second because you just covered so much. Just hopping back to lucid dreaming. So lucid dreaming is essentially having consciousness over your dreams and being able to control the narrative, correct?
Yes.
If you're a beginner in this, you're going to believe that you can't control your dreams. So how can people who are just beginning and just starting out build on that skill to be able to consciously lucid dream?
First off, I'm going to go back to what you were saying. You have to have a love and a joy
Mm-hmm.
dreaming, namely dream mapping or lucid dreaming.
Okay.
It has with fun and joy, literally following and abiding by your highest good and following your highest joy, your highest bliss.
I love that.
The more blissful you can get, aka tranquility,
Mm-hmm.
the more tranquility you can create in your being, which is a sublime relaxation. It's not just regular everyday relaxation. It's a very unique type of relaxation, aka tranquility. The more you'll have the capability of enjoying and celebrating and moving within and throughout different dream realities or dreamscapes.
Okay.
Come at it from a place of enjoyment first.
I mean, I think that's how we should do everything in life. If we're not enjoying it, then why are we doing it? Right?
Very rare instances it's not going to be about enjoyment, based on if you start getting special missions and assignments from the higher councils of light, then sometimes it's actually going to feel like literally like work. And people are like, well, I do work in the dream time. Well, yeah, you do work in the dream time, but are you down here for that work? And if you're not being paid for that work in dream time and you know you're quote unquote working, they'll don't do the work until you request a form of payment from the councils of light. And that's a whole nother subject, but interwoven. So if you're one of those people who know you're doing a lot of work in dreams, when you're coming back in this reality, you're exhausted. You're like, oh, I know I did a lot of work in dreams. Don't just do that work for free. You need to make special requests. And one of the easiest ways of doing that is writing in your journal. You're meant to have some form of dream journal, no matter what. Not a tablet, not a computer, not a smartphone, a physical piece of paper, and it's got to be blue ink.
Why blue ink?
Blue, the color blue activates the brain memory cellular receptors in the mind to help remember dreams better and to help activate the pineal gland and the third eye a lot more in a clear, crisp way. When if you just do black ink, your brain's not going to really receive it as a higher receptor. Purple ink, maybe, but blue ink creates an automatic super luminous memory.
Okay, so then out of curiosity, if someone is trying to get better at remembering their dreams and tapping into the lucid dreaming skill, would keeping the physical dream journal with blue ink help strengthen that?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. Is there
In the
anything else
beginning,
that they can do?
about the blue ink part, but the more I kept deliberately using blue ink, the better.
Okay.
Basic, very beginning, and I'm not going to teach all 12 steps. I'm telling
Okay.
you this all. I'm not, but that's when finding me as a teacher comes necessary. But this I call this 0 point. This is not even step one. 0 point is the thought, the idea. What kind of dreams or dream do you want to have? Is it just because you want to explore in the dream time? Or is there an actual problem, issue, or situation you want to heal and make better in this reality? So if there's a problem happening in this reality and you want to heal it and fix it and make it better for yourself and your life, the very most basic statement that you can write down that I've seen work, just like sheer miracles, just with this one basic statement, is the statement, please, I'd like guidance with, or I'd like guidance on. But the 0 point of that is become familiar with anywhere from 4 to 12 of your spirit guides. If you are familiar with it, even if you're like, oh, I don't know who my spirit guides are, Well, there's at least 4 you can think of immediately in your mind who are your spirit guides, from totem animals to actual angels. And those are the main 4 that are going to stand by at the 4 points of your bed or the 4 points of your bedroom. And they're going to be the main 4 that help guide you into that dream, into that guidance and those blessings. So it's, I please, like, guidance, blessings, assistance, help, support, miracles with. And it doesn't matter if you write a whole list, anywhere from 5 to 10 then things you want guidance with in this reality. You'll immediately get help from your spirit guides, from your oversoul, and you'll have either a dream about it, and or you'll wake up the next morning with the epiphany or the realizations of what to do about it. Or sometimes it's a delayed effect that later in the reality, after dreaming about it for so many nights in a row, suddenly synchronicities and miracles start to happen.
That is really cool. And for those of you listening who are struggling to connect with your spirit guides, you can come book a session with me and I will take you through a meditation to connect with them yourself. Basically, the spirit guides are what's going to help them lucid dream. Is that what you're saying? Or is it specifically for guidance in the dreams to help in the 3D world?
This goes back to old school vision questing,
Okay.
which I can't speak much about because I'm not going to claim to be a shaman or a Native American. But I will say the way the dynamics of vision questing work is choosing a spirit guide or guides, or them choosing you. And once it's chosen, they will help that person in the vision questing and the lucid dreaming protocol. And sometimes it's not automatically lucid. There, it takes very special techniques to learn and to empower how to go from regular dreaming to lucid dreaming to beyond lucid dreaming. Your main helper is really going to be your eternal, etheric, divine self. And that is far greater and far better than just your higher self alone. Hundreds of versions of your higher self exist. You don't know which version you're working with at any given point in time. Nobody, because there's so many versions of your higher self. The moment you tune into your eternal, etheric, divine, celestial self, you'll be working with the highest of the highest and the best of the best. Most people will not tell you that there's a difference between the higher self and this eternal, effervescent, everlasting, immortal self. And there's a huge difference. And even people are like, yeah, I'm in communication with my higher self. I hear my higher self all the time. Yeah, but which version of your higher self? There's hundreds of versions of your higher self. So it's being able to tune in to that highest oversoul self versus the hundreds of other voices or essences you may hear in your mind. Those are not the voices and the energies you need to be listening to. It's that highest oversoul, eternal self. You want to make the intention, write it down on paper to even connect with your eternal self, because that eternal self is actually more powerful than even your spirit guides.
So this etheric, eternal, divine higher self is basically all of your higher selves put together. That is so interesting. Okay. I've never heard of that before.
They're also known as ultra-dimensional beings. It's your ultra-dimensional beingness. It's the most quintessential aspect of yourself to connect with, because it's coming from the great central sun of the galaxy. And that ties into this part. The next part I'm about to mention is probably almost more important than the previous parts. And that's dreaming just for the sake of dreaming via sleep dreaming. Most people are dreaming from their mind, but they don't realize you can literally move your consciousness and your spirit from your mind into your heart. and then you actually start dreaming in your heart. So dreaming in the heart is ultimately more powerful than just, oh, I had a lucid dream, but it was in my mind. If you had a lucid dream without dreaming in the heart first, you're more likely going to experience massive amounts of duality and polarity in the dreams.
Mhm.
Wake up the next day with just as much duality and polarity. But the moment you move your consciousness from your mind into your heart, you dreaming in the heart is then you creating, manifesting, and also materializing more experiences from the wholeheartedness, from the central core heartedness of your own being.
So
If you
how do you do
master
that?
that, that's where the teachings come in.
How do you shift it from your brain to your heart?
That's where the teachings come in.
Can you give a tip or an idea?
One tip, but it's not the only thing. The best tip I can give is for those of you who have really good abilities of imagination, you'll get this better than someone who doesn't. And that's literally imagining a ball of light in the center of your brain by the pineal gland. And just keep imagining that ball of light getting brighter and brighter and brighter. And start to move that ball of light like a marble from the front of the brain, the skull, to the back of the brain, skull, to the right of the brain, to the skull, to the left of the brain, skull. And if you can get that movement down with that little ball of light just right, you'll then realize, wow, you can move it down into your throat and
Mm.
then let it sit there in the throat, that ball of light. Golden energy, platinum energy is usually the best one to visualize. And then you move it back up into your brain and move it around again, front, back, left, right. You'll actually even feel, if you're doing it correctly, you'll feel the inner sanctum of your skull, your cranium. And then when you get comfortable enough with that, that's basically a 5 minute technique unto itself. You're finally moving it down into the center of your heart, moving that ball of light in the center of your heart, and you're going to feel it there. And there's 3 different areas in the heart. All of them are smaller and smaller and smaller the more you move into those areas in the heart. But just getting in the heart alone with that ball or that spirit essence consciousness of light is half of the battle right there. And then from there, it's almost extremely hard and difficult to find the tiniest, most smallest microcosmic, microatomic space in the heart, which is literally a giant stargate on the macrocosmic level, because the real stargate is not an external stargate outside of you. The real one is literally within your heart. And when you find that, boom, then you can literally start traveling and moving about and dreaming within the heart. It sounds easier said than done.
I'm
Mastering that is key to dreaming in the heart.
I am actually just a little mind blown right now that we have a Stargate within our heart.
It's more powerful than the brain. It's more powerful than most natural stargates. They do link up with natural stargates
Mhm.
almost automatically. The person is manifesting and dreaming from the heart. But if someone's manifesting and creating, trying to create logically from their brain,
Mhm.
they're not going to link up to stargates. They're not going to even find natural stargates. They're not going to even know what a natural stargate even is.
That's so interesting. And like the Stargate is just automatically there in all humans, or is it specifically starseeds and light beings?
Um, Good question. In some cases, the stargate is almost automatically there.
Okay.
Most cases, it takes a fully activated light body, star tetrahedral light body, to even activate that inner stargate.
Mm.
Those are really, really specific techniques that, I have to say this, that
Mhm.
in some instances can seem like quantum physics hyperdimensional physics and mathematics, like rocket science, but in other cases are some of the easiest, most simplest things to learn once you learn it.
That is so interesting. So, out of curiosity, is mine active?
Nah, maybe.
What do you mean, maybe? Because my light body is fully activated. I have my diamond crystalline rainbow light body.
Yours does what a lot of people's does when you get to this level that you're at, which is a
Mm-hmm.
good level. It turns off and on like a light switch. But there's moments when it turns off, and it's actually meant to be eternally on,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what, all the time. And even if it's lightly spinning and rotating, because the Merkaba, the light body, is a counter rotational, oscillating on the dimension, on the directional energy. It's always meant to be on 24/7, no matter what. If it shuts off, even for the smallest little angersome, frustrating, petty little superficial issue, that means it's like harder to get it turned back on after that.
Okay, wait. So
So
it's something that happens within your 3D body that will shut it off. Is it specific things? Is it a vibrational frequency? How does that happen?
a lot of things can cause it to turn off.
Okay.
And one of the main ones is anger.
Mm,
The other one is the seven deadly sins. Sounds so old school,
it
but
does.
it's not. I kid you not. One of the worst ones is if someone's living in a place of clutter, their light body could try to turn on all at once, but it's not going to stay on.
Okay. Interesting.
The other is gluttony,
Mm-hmm.
greed. All those
I
things make it turn off
Yeah.
because those are the things that are actually draining the energy of the light body.
That's what I was gonna say. I was literally about to say. I didn't realize you were in the like just pausing in your sentence. I thought you were done. I can physically feel like, for example, the greed, the gluttony, the anger, like, all of those things, even the clutter, like the clutter in my space, it affects me mentally and it shifts my energy so much that doesn't surprise me at all that it would affect the Stargate. Okay. What is this blue kava juice you were drinking? That is, it's like such a tropical blue. I love it.
This is called Blue Oahu, and
Mm.
it's formulated. It was formulated and developed in Oahu, Hawaii, and it's a very magical, multi-mineral, essential fatty acid infused, flavorful mocktail tonic. It's my super soldier juice.
But it's kava, right?
My super soldier serum. It's kava,
Yes.
but it creates so much tranquility. It simultaneously creates so much hyper focus.
What is the flavor compared to the kava that you served me
This
and my
flavor,
friends in Mount Shasta?
citrusy, coconutty, blueberry.
So it would actually taste good instead of dirt water.
Yeah, comment on my dirt water.
I personally liked it. I enjoyed it. It was a very earthy taste, and I did not mind it at all. It's just funny that it literally
There's a
tasted
reason
like dirt water.
that makes it so significant, and
Hmm.
I'm not just saying I'm the kava guy that's been to over 150 kava bars in our country, in the nation, the United States alone. What I am saying, and I had this epiphany years ago. Merkaba, Kaba,
Mm.
Merkava, kava, kava, the root, the tea, the drink is literally fuel, super 0 point energy fuel for the light body, for the Merkaba. Kava is the fuel for the Merkaba.
Can we side note for a second and just talk about kava? Because I don't think I've ever seen you for a moment without having access to some sort of kava. And you guys, when we were hanging out with him in Mount Shasta, he had gallons of kava just in his car. And whenever he wanted more, he'd go pop the trunk, fill up his water bottle with more kava that he made. Like kava is just, I feel like, part of your identity at this point. So like I know you just said it's like one of the top activators for the light body, but what else is it for? What else does it do? Because that cannot be the only reason that you drink it.
a hyperlucidic intelligence. It's a hyperdimensional focus. It's a calming of the mind to the point where if I was used to having really bad racing thoughts, I no longer have racing thoughts. I
Mm,
call it having 1,000 thoughts a minute to suddenly just having 10 crystal clear, laser focused thoughts. And that's all I'm focusing
interesting.
on. 10. And some moments I have no thought at all. Ideally, I'm striving for just pure void. The other thing is it calms the nervous system. It heals the body from actual physical wounds. So if you're an athlete, if you're into skiing, if you're into surfing, if you're into some form of extraneous physical exertion, it will actually rejuvenate and regenerate and help the body to recover quicker.
Hmm.
And in the right dosage and the right combination before you go to bed at night, if you have kava before you go to sleep, it is one of the most ultimate, relaxing, divine tranquility, lucid dream activators.
Okay, so back to the lucid dreaming, it helps with that as well. That is very interesting.
And it's a social stimulant. So if you're used to
Yes.
being shy, introverted, oh, I'm shy, I'm introverted, I don't normally just go up to people and talk to them. Well, kava, over time, over 21 days to 60 days of time of usage, anywhere from 3 to 5 cups a day, will almost automatically make you be more socially prone and confident and assertive and better at networking and better at connecting and better at even remembering people's names and remembering the littlest detail to the biggest of details.
And you know what I love about kava is that it's a plant medicine, it's a root. So it's not alcohol, it's not like anything illegal. It's literally just a plant that's turned into a drink that has all of these beautiful medicinal healing properties. And for those of you listening who are interested in trying kava, I reckon you can find a kava bar near where you are because there's a lot of them now.
Or
Ooh.
join a Facebook group called the Kava Critics Connection. And then on Instagram, it's literally Kavatar Awakening.
Avatar Awakening. I love that. Hold on, let me write that down so I don't forget to add it into the show notes. Avatar Awakening.
I'm
Okay.
passionate about Kava nowadays than I am most things.
Yeah, no, dude, you love kava. That's why I wanted to do a little like side note about it because this is like part of your identity. What are you doing with these
I'm
crystals on
more
your
famous
on your face right now?
my special glands in my brain.
Okay, do it up. Can we jump back a second to dream mapping because you mentioned it a couple times, but we haven't actually talked about what it is. And you said it's a concept that you came up with, correct? So what actually is dream mapping?
Dream mapping, I am the blue golden dragon monkey.
I don't get it.
100 monkey effect. I came up with the concept dream mapping, but
Okay.
100 other people across the world recently came up with it too in the last several months.
Uh,
I don't know who those other people are, but I know they got the same download from the galactic central sun and the golden triune universe.
mm,
Uh, the fancy way of saying, wow, got a major epiphany in invention and innovation. So it went from, oh, lucid dreaming to, wow, beyond lucid dreaming. And it's a concept of 12 or more steps to to experience super luminable dreaming. Going luminous is what I call
what does that mean though, going luminous in your dreams?
it. It means the difference between dreaming in black and white, dreaming in dull color, or dreaming in full color with full memory, the full capability to doing whatever the heck you
Mm.
want to do. Teleporting, telekinesis, time travel, walking through walls, levitating, flying, shapeshifting into an animal, moving into an ancestor's body from 9,000 years ago, going into the distant future, going to another planet in a world, traveling through natural stargates, locating first the natural stargate before you try to travel through one.
Okay, so that's dream mapping. That's luminous dreaming. So this is a step up then from lucid dreaming. Is it along the
This
same lines as astral travel or is it still different?
all interwoven. Astral
Okay.
travel action interconnected to lucid dreaming, interconnected to being super telepathic.
Okay. So, in order to begin dream mapping, do you already have to have lucid dreaming under control?
You need to get your mind under control and dream in the heart.
Okay. So, those are the two steps.
There's so much to dreaming that there could be whole workshops and an entire school just on this concept alone.
Create it then. Let's do it.
Abracadabra.
I think that'd actually be really cool. And I think that would help a lot of people because the actually currently right now, the videos that are getting the most engagement on my TikTok are about dreams. Like I think there's a lot of people who would be very interested in learning a lot deeper about this stuff and attending a course or like an online school to develop their skills and understanding of it deeper.
One of the coolest things I've personally experienced with beyond lucid dreaming and this type of avatarian transference of consciousness
Mm-hmm.
is the experience of waking up, literally going to bed, and then waking up in another bed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still myself, but in another reality. And I'm waking up in a room and I'm seeing myself in the mirror and I'm knowing I'm in some other realm or reality. And I'm fully lucid, fully awake, fully aware. And I'm in a special school, an academy of light, kind of like Hogwarts, kind of like a Jedi Academy, kind of like Starfleet and
Mm-hmm.
Star Trek.
Astral
And
school.
I'm having a full classroom experience. I used to be student at these Dreamtime academies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a, I'm actually a professor at a lot of these places. I remember when I was still a student, and I remember how I graduated and then became a professor. It's been over the last 20 years of time. It's so there's a sequence of things that occurred, and by becoming a professor, one of the main rules, one of the main agreements was tell as many people as possible about the Dreamtime schools and the Dreamtime academies.
Okay, wait, can we actually talk about it? Because I have been to Astral School, the one that looks like Hogwarts. I've had multiple friends who have done it. And then on TikTok, I've had so many people commenting saying that they've also been there. So can you actually tell me which school is the one that looks like Hogwarts? And is there something specific that we're learning there? Or is it just a general school that we go to learn and like basic things?
Hogwarts is in a different realm,
Mm-hmm.
dimension, and timeline. More times than none, it's actually taking place in Shambhala.
Oh.
And other times, it's taking place in an old, ancient Celtic dream school that is literally a city in the sky above Scotland, in Ireland, and it's above Scotland predominantly, but a little bit of Ireland. And it's literally in the sky. It's a Dreamtime city that exists there back in time before the rise of the empire, aka the Vatican, and before Greco-Roman time was forced upon the people. And but the other one, Shambhala, is in a similar realm, but typically it's above and below simultaneously Mount Shasta or the Himalayas.
Mm.
And when I say below, it's also happening within the inner earth of the planet, aka Telos. There's a third one that people will commonly dream of, and that's existing in another world, and that's in the central sun of the galaxy, or the central sun of the solar system, that's literally in the center of Orion. And in the center of Orion is where the Galactic Dreamtime Federation type school exists. It's not the only one, but it's the main three that people are likely to be dreaming about.
And so, I mean, you just mentioned that the third one is a galactic one. So, what are we learning at the other two when we go there?
It's like when you go to college and you're choosing a major, it's the same difference. You're literally going to those schools with a chosen profession and a chosen major in mind, and you're in specific individual classrooms with different specific teachers, and you're set up in an arranged way where every single student that's in that class more than likely is compatible to you, and you're compatible to them, and they are also dreaming the same dream you are. They're not only dreaming, this is the funny part, from the year 2023. They could be dreaming from the year 1200 AD. They could be dreaming from the year 2400 AD. It doesn't exist in a known place, in a known timeline. It exists outside of time. And regardless of who's there in the classroom and what major, what special profession, major, or technique you're choosing to learn, everyone's there to learn that one same thing in the different classrooms that exist. Depending on what is being taught will determine if it's the mystical arts, healing arts, or if it's literally about something along the lines of building and creating an actual invention that's meant to be built and created in this reality. Most people in the very beginning in these Dreamtime schools, based on those main three, are all going to be learning the basics, and that is psychic awareness 101. And it's usually teaching people telepathy, empathic skills.
Oh my God, wait.
Everybody has to go through that orientation first. And surprisingly, not a lot of people pass. A lot of those people fail and they drop out of school and they never are invited again. And then those who pass that basic orientation in the beginning are then allowed to go to further and higher studies.
Okay, wait, can I tell you something just based on the telepathy? So last night I was in San Jose with some friends and we were hanging out with this other friend who we had met over the time that we were there, and they had a dog. And so I'm sitting on the couch with one of my friends and this dude's dog. And I look at the dog and in my head, I think, can you teach me telepathy? And the dog wiggled its ears the same way Chispa did, the dog I mentioned in the last episode. Both dogs had the exact same response when I asked them the question. And I just thought that was really cool.
Animal communication is usually how, in those Dreamtime schools, they will start to teach you so that you can eventually, down in this reality, learn more types of animal communication. But if you do have a dog or a cat, do not hesitate in your mind, in your own mental construct, to asking the dog or the cat, please teach me telepathy. Please show me how. And if you say it out loud, as long as you're by yourself and you don't look like a weirdo, you can say it out loud too. But the cat or the dog or the bird, if you have a pet bird or lizard, whatever the pet is, will actually do its utmost best to show you telepathy, because pets and animals are automatically all telepathic.
Yeah, it's so cool. So cool. I mean, I haven't really gotten past that point yet of them saying, yeah, I'll do you telepathy, because I don't really know what to do after that. Do I just keep asking them questions in my head or out loud and then having them answer somehow? Like how am I developing this beyond asking them to teach me telepathy?
It all begins with asking. Those steps and techniques take a certain higher level of training, including if you're going to bed at night and requesting to be in those Dreamtime schools. Eventually, your eternal self and your guides will transport you in the Dreamtime realm where the Dreamtime schools exist. And then you'll come back down from those experiences in this reality with more steps of your own innate telepathic capabilities.
Okay. But so for a tangible 3D next step for me and my dog Chispa, do I just keep asking them questions in my head and hoping that eventually they'll figure it out? Okay, no. So what's my next step other than the dream realm?
Yep. I mean, honestly, that's all I'd ever did. But then after a while, I learned that they're not going to just teach you something without you giving them a treat.
Oh,
They're not going to just teach you something without you showing them something special that they've never seen or done before. So if it's a dog, you're going to be like, oh, ask it in the same way, but the dog's going to be like, okay, but what's in it for me? Am I going to get a dog treat? Because if I don't get a dog treat, I'm not going to teach you anything. Um, and then the dog might also be like, well, are you going to take me for a walk? But not the usual walk, but for a special walk for a place I've never been. The dog is going to want there to be a big reward.
I'll take them to the beach.
The cat will want similar. The cat will also want a treat. And if the cat is young enough, you can put the cat on a harness and a collar and a leash. I've done that with cats. You can train cats to be like a dog. That's where the super telepathic capabilities come in. Mm. But even if you're like, no, I'm not gonna. You go on a little car ride with the cat, even if it's a car ride around the block, and you give the cat treats, and you come back home and you show the cat a room or an area in the house that it's never been. That cat will love you forever if you just show it somewhere different. And then the cat will be like, okay, now I'll teach you. And then you'll start to feel and sense thoughts and images, messages coming from the cat. And you'll be like, well, how do I know I'm not just making it up? That's the weirdest thing about telepathy. How do I know I'm not just making it up? Well, the whole point, the whole thing is how do you know what you're about to say before you're about to say it?
I honestly don't think that that's weird, but maybe that's because I sit and I channel my guides and I already have voices because I'm clairaudient coming into my head that aren't mine.
Telepathy is, except the cat or the dog or an animal also has an oversoul, has an eternal self. And so if it's a cat, it's going to have an oversoul that is representative of a full two-legged Lyran, Siren, Orionus type lioness being, almost automatically. And as a dog, it's going to be a full-blown Star Wolf type two-legged type being that's its oversoul. And it's going to look just like your cat or your dog, but imagine in your mind's eye, it's on two legs and it's literally like wearing a full-blown priest or priestess gown, because in that higher intelligent level, it is literally that cat or dog's eternal higher self.
That's so interesting. I didn't expect the dog one to be wolf vibes. I don't know why. It's not
wolf like the wolf we know of. It's more like a
wolf vibes.
Majestic royalty.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but that's not something that I would have come to on my own, I think. Okay, so wrapping this episode up, is there anything else about lucid dreaming or dream mapping or the higher dimensional, eternal, etheric, divine, higher self? Any of those that you want to just touch on and give some final thoughts, advice, wisdom about?
Two things. One I just thought of, and that's essential. This is going to be interesting to explain. Whatever you do in the beginning of any dream questing or dream mapping or lucid dreaming, whatever you do not make any agreements with any deities, with any goddesses, or angels. Make no agreements with them whatsoever. They are not higher than you. They are not greater than you. They are not better than you, and they do not have control or worship power over you. If you are worshiping a god or a goddess or an angel, and you're making an agreement with that god or goddess or that angel, no matter what name they go by, no matter how high and great you think they are, in fact, you as a super illuminable, superhuman being and your eternal self is in fact way higher than that god, way higher than that angel, and you give them the instructions. They're not necessarily meant to give you the instructions, as long as you're striving to work in sovereign equality. If for any instance you accidentally give your power away, and that guide, that spirit guide, or that god, or that angel is giving you instructions and giving you guidance, you had better be prepared that it's going to take some life force from you. And that's almost what always happens to people in spirituality, in the new age. They're giving their power away to outside guides and gods and angels, but they're not realizing that you're meant to work with them equally. So always strive for spiritual, energetic equality, no matter how great you think that guide is. It's no greater than your actual eternal oversoul self.
Thank you. That I actually feel like is a very important tip that people, if they hadn't heard this, may have actually fucked up on. So thank
The
you. That was great.
last second thing is, honestly, it's going to sound so cliche, but don't try to do it, much of this dream mapping alone unless you already have a prerequisite of lucid dreaming. Always try to let someone know that's close to you that you're doing this, and or work with a guided instructor or teacher that can show you more specific tips, techniques, and tricks. Because if you don't, and you just decide one day that you're going to dream, go beyond lucid dreaming and go super illuminable, you may not come back from that experience very grounded, and you may not come back the happiest camper. You may come back completely aggravated that A, nothing happened, like nothing at all, or B, you might accidentally come back completely drained. And that's the difference between dreaming in the heart and then going through a natural stargate via the heart, via the natural stargates around the world. Most people, when they want to astral project, the biggest mistake they do. This is the biggest mistake all astral projectors do. They immediately want to astral project and go up. I say that's the dumbest freaking thing. You're not an airplane. Do not astral project and go up. I mean, that's the dumbest thing that most people do, because up is actually down in the astral realm. And down is actually up in the astral realm. It's like reversed. And if you don't go up nor down, and you go deeply within your heart, and then you instantly teleport, translocate to the natural stargate in the area, because everyone lives near at least one, you'll then go beyond the higher astral realm and into the galactic central sun, where you're meant to be dreaming in the galactic central sun than you are in some weird phantom astral realm.
Okay,
So most
so
people are dreaming in the phantom realm, and they don't know that they're doing it.
so because I think I'm one of these people, when I astral travel, I envision myself like literally in the 3D and then going into the sky and flying. So what am I supposed to do? Just sink myself into the ground
No, you're supposed to sink yourself into your heart.
and then go through that Stargate?
Go through that Stargate and then go through the natural Stargate that's in Costa Rica for you. For me,
I gotta find that.
the closest natural Stargate is actually this town. This town has its own natural Stargate in it, this particular one.
Where
But
are
let's
you
say
now?
you're like in Kansas. The natural Stargate closest to Kansas is Wichita, Texas. Like if you're in Washington State, the best and closest natural Stargate is in Salt Spring, Canada. If you're in California, the natural closest Stargate is Mount Shasta. You got to know where these Stargates are, or where you feel the most powerful sacred site is more than likely where one of them are. And your astral body, your light body, your spirit body will immediately know how to go into the heart, instantaneously teleport via the light body to those natural stargates, and you'll go beyond the higher astral realm. Most people make the mistake of going up. I'm going to fly, I'm going to go up. Well, nowadays, there's something called 5G, kiddos. And you know what 5G does? It imprisons and entraps the soul. And it
Oh,
prevents people from actually fully achieving their greatest light body quintessence.
Shut
And then
the
it
fuck
traps the
up.
soul, and then they get caught into a phantom realm. And they're like, yeah, I astral projected. I had the best astral projection experience ever. But meanwhile, they're only half telling the truth, because if they immediately went up and went to the sky, you didn't actually realize that there's a natural Stargate in your own heart, and then a natural Stargate nearby where there is no going up, and you go instantly anywhere, almost anywhere and everywhere you want to go.
Dude, I think I'm still shook over the fact that 5G traps your soul.
Mm-hmm. It's a
Is that
quarantine around.
like
So if someone passes away, as an example, and actually dies, they're
yeah,
going to be entrapped for a pretty long time until they have a family member or a priest or a shaman to help them go beyond heaven.
what the
And
fuck?
you're not required to try to go beyond heaven, because heaven is an artificial construct created by AI. And most people are like, yeah, I made it to heaven. But no. You didn't make it to the real heaven. You made it to the artificial one that was constructed by the Anunnaki.
This is when my brain starts to get really angry at society and I just want to fuck them all off because why did they do that? What like
Because they
I
don't
just
want to.
mm, you know?
They don't want to get alive.
Oh, Lord have
They don't,
mercy.
want they don't want anyone to realize they're immortal.
Mm,
I
society
need that
sometimes just irks my soul.
hundreds of times. I'm flying, I'm going up. Oh wow, I'm flying, I'm going up. Oh wow, flying, going. But if you do enough of those, by the time you come back every single time, you're just getting more and more and more and more drained.
Mm,
You go
I-
within the heart, go within the heart of the galaxy, go within. It's literally a nanosecond of thinking. It takes no flying. You're not lifting off like an airplane, and boom, you're there.
So with the 5G thing, if your phone, for example, has 5G, is that slowly trapping you as well? Or like if you're
Yeah.
just living life in an area that has 5G satellite towers or whatever they're called, it's still
Slowly
affecting you.
and making the person a digitalized, fractionalized version of themselves. And before they know it, they're becoming more and more artificial and less organic. I am not saying AI is bad. So, any of you AI artists out there, get it out of your head. I am saying that there's a natural, organic, evolutionary process, and there's an artificial, de-evolutionary process that is keeping souls on Earth, keeping them here, and not allowing them to move anywhere else.
Hmm. That's wild. That's fucked up. I honestly, like, I'm like looking at my phone now, like, God bless Costa Rica for never allowing me to surpass 4G and most of the time sitting in 3G because the service sucks. Well, thank you so much for today's episode. Everyone listening, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you do, please give us a like, a review, a rating, and share us with a friend so we can help expand everyone else's consciousness with all of this knowledge and get everyone into ascension, hopefully sooner than later. Thank you so much for listening today. And Blue, thank you so much for coming on. I hope all of you have an amazing rest of your day coming from two people just like you.